Hello everyone, this is Serton, and let's get started. The lesson for today is about enthalpies of reaction. The enthalpy change of a reaction is calculated as delta H equals the enthalpy of products minus the enthalpy of reactants. So basically, enthalpy change tells us how much heat is involved when a reaction happens. We calculate it by subtracting the total enthalpy of the reactants from the total enthalpy of the products. In other words, it's like comparing the energy before and after the reaction. We give this energy change a name. This is what we call enthalpy of reaction or heat of reaction. And we usually write it as delta H with the subscript Rxn. It's just a shorthand way to refer to the heat involved in the reaction. This delta H tells us whether a reaction gives off heat or takes in heat. If delta H is negative, the reaction releases heat, like burning wood. If delta H is positive, the reaction absorbs heat, like melting ice. Whenever we talk about the delta H, we need to say exactly which reaction we are talking about. For example, burning 2 moles of hydrogen gas to make 2 moles of water releases 483.6 kilojoules of heat. This way, everyone knows the context of the heat change. And as you can see here in the balanced chemical equation, we have delta H equals negative 483.6 kilojoules. The negative sign in delta H means the reaction gives off heat. So this is an exothermic reaction. It releases energy into the surroundings. When we include the enthalpy change in a chemical reaction, it is what we call a thermochemical equation. The numbers in front of the chemicals, the coefficients, indicate the number of moles producing the stated delta H. Or, in other words, it tells us how many moles were used to produce that amount of heat. So again, for example, 2 moles of reacting hydrogen gas with 1 mole of oxygen gas produce 2 moles of water vapor and releases 483.6 kilojoules of heat. In an enthalpy diagram, we can see why a reaction is exothermic. The reactants start with more energy or enthalpy than the products. So as the reaction happens, energy is released, and the products end up lower on the diagram. If we use our formula, delta H equals the enthalpy of products minus the enthalpy of reactants, we get a negative value for delta H because the products have less energy than the reactants. This negative sign tells us that the reaction releases heat, which is what makes it exothermic. Before we use the thermochemical equations or draw enthalpy diagrams, it is important to remember that enthalpy is an extensive property. This means the amount of heat change depends on how much of the substance reacts. So for instance, if we burn 1 mole of methane, it releases 890 kilojoules of heat at constant pressure. That's the delta H for this specific amount. But if we burn 2 moles of methane instead, the heat released doubles to 1,780 kilojoules. Because again, the delta H scales with the amount of reactant. Sometimes, you'll see thermochemical equations with fractions as coefficients. This just shows that the delta H value is proportional to a smaller or fractional amount of reactant. And going back to our example, burning 1 mole of methane with 2 moles of oxygen produces carbon dioxide and water and releases 890 kilojoules of heat. If we change the amounts proportionally, then the delta H would scale accordingly as well. Point number 2. The enthalpy change for a reaction is equal in magnitude but opposite in sign to delta H for the reverse reaction. So basically, if you reverse the reaction, the enthalpy change stays the same in size or in magnitude, but the sign flips. So what was released in the forward reaction is now absorbed in the reverse. In other words, the amount of heat doesn't change. The amount of heat doesn't change, only whether it is given off or taken in. So for example, if we reverse the combustion of methane, the products and reactants swap. Now we go from carbon dioxide and water back to methane and oxygen. The delta H becomes positive 890 kilojoules, meaning heat is absorbed. This is now an endothermic process. So anytime that we reverse a reaction, just remember, delta H flips the sign. A reaction that released heat before now needs heat to happen. Point number 3. The enthalpy change for a reaction depends on the states of the reactants and products. So basically, delta H doesn't just depend on the chemicals involved, but also on their physical states, whether they are solid, liquid, or gas. So for example, when methane burns, it normally forms liquid water. The reaction releases heat, releasing 890 kilojoules of heat. But if the water forms a gas instead, the reaction releases less heat. Here's an example. Burning methane to form gaseous water releases 802 kilojoules of heat instead of 890 kilojoules because converting liquid water to gas absorbs 88 kilojoules of heat. This energy reduces the net heat released by the reaction. So in thermochemical equations, it is very important to include the physical states and assume a standard temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, delta H could be misleading. It is important to know both the size or the magnitude and the sign of delta H. The magnitude tells us how much heat is involved, while the sign tells us whether the reaction gives off or absorbs heat. Together, they help us understand the energy change in a reaction. So we can find delta H or enthalpy changes in two ways, by measuring it in experiments or by calculating it using known enthalpy changes from other reactions. This lets us predict delta H even for reactions that are hard to measure directly. Now let's apply the concepts that we have learned in sample exercise number 1. How much heat is released when 4.50 grams of methane gas is burned in a constant pressure system? The following thermochemical equation is given below. So as we can see here, our goal is to use a thermochemical equation to calculate the heat produced when a specific amount of methane gas is combusted. According to this equation, 890 kilojoules is released when 1 mole of methane is burned at constant pressure. So in this case, this thermochemical equation provides us a stoichiometric conversion factor, and that is 1 mole of methane or CH4 releases negative 890 kilojoules of heat. Thus, we can convert moles of methane to kilojoules of energy. First, however, we must convert grams of methane to moles of methane. And our solution will start from the grams of methane, which is given from the problem, and we can convert it into moles of CH4 using the molar mass of methane. And once we have the moles of methane, that's the time that we can calculate for the kilojoules of heat released. So starting from grams of methane, which is 4.50 grams of CH4 multiplied by the conversion factor, which is the molar mass of methane, and that is 16.043 grams per 1 mole. And the next step is to multiply it with our stoichiometric conversion factor coming from the thermochemical equation. And that is 1 mole of CH4 releases 890 kilojoules of heat. So from this, we can now cancel some units, leaving us with kilojoules as the unit. So 4.50 grams of methane times 1 over 16.043 times negative 890 over 1, that is equal to negative 249.64 kilojoules of heat. And as we can see, the negative sign indicates that the system, the methane and the oxygen gas, release 250 kilojoules of heat into the surroundings. Now you can pause the video to answer our practice exercise number 1. In summary, the enthalpy of reaction is calculated as the change of enthalpy of reaction equals the enthalpy of products minus the enthalpy of reactants. There are 3 key rules for the change of enthalpy of reaction. First, it is proportional to the amount of reactant reacted. Second, reversing the reaction changes the sign of the delta H. And third, It depends on the physical states of reactants in products. That's it for now and see you on our next video.